everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie and I'm here today with a fun little book tag. So this is the A through Z book tag. I got this idea from a booktuber who I follow, Hannah's Reading Realm. She has a really good fun book channel. She is such a frequent uploader. It is honestly inspiring to me. But she did this tag a couple of months ago and I really enjoyed watching it and getting her answers to the questions. So figured why not do it myself? Maybe it will help you get to know me a little bit more as a reader, my reading journey, my reading tastes. So hopefully you enjoy this. This is the A to C book tag and I'm going to start with letter A. Letter A is author you have read the most from. So if you're not counting series, the author that I've read the most from is Taylor Jenkins Reid. She is my favorite author. I absolutely love her. I love her books. Everything that I've read from her, I really like. Other than that, I read all of the Magnolia Parks books, read quite a lot from Stephanie Garber. I read the whole Caraval series and the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. Obviously, like all of the Hunger Games books and other long book series that I've read, but I'm trying not to count those. So if I don't go that direction, it is Miss Taylor Jenkins Reid. Letter B is for best sequel you've ever read. So easily, hands down, my answer for this is Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. This is my pretty special edition here. This is the second book in the Six of Crows duology. Absolutely loved this sequel. I think that it was such a good follow-up book to Six of Crows. I enjoyed Six of Crows. I believe at the time I rated it 3.75 stars. It was one of the first fantasy books I've ever read, which was kind of a little bit intensive to go into that book first. And I had a little bit of a hard time following along, but then this book, the sequel, oh my god, that is what made me absolutely fall in love with the duology. And then letter C is my current read. I am reading on my Kindle and the book that I'm reading is Night Shift by Alex Finlay. It's a mystery thriller. D is for drink of choice while reading. Honestly, I'm a coffee girl. I don't really drink anything other than coffee and water. So 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be a coffee. E is for physical book or e-reader. It is so hard to choose for me. I just wanna say both because I love physical books. Honestly, nothing beats a physical book, but I love reading on my Kindle for convenience sake. I love being able to read without a light on, and for that reason alone, I would say e-reader, but it's only for convenience sake. I really love physical books. Okay, F is a funny question. This is for fictional character I would have dated in high school. And I don't really know. Like, I don't really know what direction to go with that. Everyone else who I've seen do this is a straight woman, so I've never actually seen someone give a female main character as an answer, but I'm gonna go with Misery from Bride. I just thought that Misery as a character is so funny. She's extremely sarcastic. I felt like she's really witty. I feel like she would have good banter, and she was also a vampire. So I mean, I'm sure that me in high school would have been like, oh my god, a vampire. You know. G is for book that I'm glad that I gave a chance. So for this one, I'm going with Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. This is a fantasy book, and at the time when I picked this up, I had barely read any fantasy and I didn't know how into it I was going to be, but I ended up absolutely falling in love with this book. The sequel, Ruthless Vows, was decent. It wasn't bad, but this one, Divine Rivals, oh my god, so good. And it honestly kind of started my interest in fantasy and wanting to delve more into that genre. So I'm definitely glad that I gave Divine Rivals a try. H is for Hidden Gem book. So this is another one I don't have the physical copy of, but I'm gonna go with The Museum of Ordinary People by Mike Gale. I believe this is on Kindle Unlimited. It is a literary fiction book. It was an extremely heartwarming, quotable, really fun book about this woman who ends up finding this museum where people bring the belongings of their loved ones who have passed away that they don't want to get rid of, but they don't have space for in their house. And it's developed into this, what they call the Museum of Ordinary People. And it was just such an interesting, heartwarming book. I really enjoyed that one, and I don't hear anybody talk about it ever. I is for important reading moment in my life. And for that one, I'm going to have to go with when I was in 5th grade, 10 years old, and I read Perks of Being a Wallflower for the first time. Now, this was not age appropriate for me to be reading at this time. It was probably a little traumatizing, but this book shaped my reading taste significantly. I've always been a massive reader. This is one of those books that really had an impact on me and changed, I feel like, the course of my book taste and reading. If you have not read Perks of Being a Wallflower, definitely read it. Really good book. Trigger warning, definitely a little on the heavy side, but great book. J is for Just Finished, so the book that I just finished, and that is another one I don't have physically, but that is The Writing Retreat by Julia Bartz. This was a queer thriller. I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. I would recommend it for a very niche audience, but I enjoyed it. K is for kind of books that I don't read. So for me, that is any type of gore, like hardcore gore. Like I can deal with a little bit, but gratuitous goriness for no reason, intense horror. I don't read anything with animal abuse or animal death being a major topic. I don't read books that are about plane crashes or school shootings. It just freaks me out too much. So those are the only types of books that I absolutely do not read. L is for longest book I've ever read. So if I'm just counting the reading I've done in my adult life, I think that the longest book that I've ever read is Binding 13. I know that the old editions are almost 1,000 pages. Magnolia Park's Into the Dark, this was just over 700 pages, and this was a thick one too. But I think that Binding 13 is longer. I just read it on my Kindle, so I don't have it to show. M is a book that gave me a major book hangover. So this has really only happened to me a couple of times, but the worst time was last year when I read She's Not Sorry by Mary Kubica. I don't have the book anymore because I put it in a little free library. It gave me such a bad book hangover that I had a hard time picking up and finishing a book for a month after that, and that never happens to me. And it wasn't because I loved the book. It was because I absolutely hated this book. I have never gotten through a thriller slower in my life. I have never been more unsatisfied by a thriller in my life, and it just gave me that book hangover feeling. So that is my book hangover book. N is for number of bookcases. I have a lot of those like small individual ones. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think, small ones, and then 2 big ones, but those aren't all full with my books. Some of the shelves are empty, some of the shelves have my wife's books, but if you're just gonna go in like a general, I have 8 in my house right now. P is for preferred place to read. For me, definitely a couch or a cozy chair. I do like to read in bed before I go to sleep, but other than that, I like to curl up with a blanket, my coffee, like I said, and read in a nice little comfy, cozy corner of the couch or in a chair. Q is for quote that inspires me. So for this one, I'm pulling out my copy of Normal People because it's one of the few books that I have tabbed. This one has a lot of quotes that I really liked. So a couple of them that I'll say. Marianne lived a drastically free life. He could see that. He was trapped by various considerations. He cared what people thought of him. Lately, he's consumed by a sense that he is in fact 2 separate people, and soon he will have to choose which person to be on a full-time basis and leave the other person behind. And I'll do one more. This was probably the most horrifying thing Eric could have said to him, not because it ended his life, but because it didn't. He knew then that the secret for which he had sacrificed his own happiness and the happiness of another person had been trivial all along and worthless. Pretty much all the quotes about Connell in this book are inspirational to me because I really can see a past version of myself in that character. So I really did connect with that book and a lot of the quotes in it. R is for reading regret. So the only reading regret that I can really think of right now, I almost never will buy more than 1 book in a series before I've read the first book. I almost always will buy the first book, taste test if I like it, and then I'll continue on. But the only book series I didn't do that with was the Inheritance Games trilogy. I have all 3 books and I read the first one and I really didn't like it. So I regret getting the second and third book of that series before realizing that I did not like the first book at all. S is for series that I need to finish. So I'm in the middle of quite a few series, but the ones that I'm closest to finishing are the Beartown trilogy. I have only 1 book left in that. The Addicted series, I have only 3 books left in the Addicted series, which I never even thought I would get that far. I didn't even know how I would feel about that series, but I'm in it, I'm invested. So I have 3 more books left in that. A couple of series that I've started. I started Binding 13, The Boys of Tommen, but I have not read beyond the first book. I do want to finish that eventually, but it is not something that I'm rushing on. I read the first book of the Prison Healer trilogy. I would like to read the second and the third book, so that's another one that's on my mind. I'm trying to think, are there any other series? Oh, I read the first Heartstopper book. Definitely want to finish that one. Is there anything else that I'm in the middle of that I really want to finish? Not that I can think of, but if there's anything important that I forgot, we'll put it in after editing. T is 3 favorite books. Obviously, this is such an impossible question. I have so many favorite books, so many books that I loved, but when I really sat and thought about what would I say if someone made me pick my 3 favorite books, 3 books that kind of encompass what I like as a reader, this is what I came up with. So, first one, Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Absolutely amazing. Has all the hype for a reason. Absolutely love this book. Absolutely love this book. Definitely on the list. Second one is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. I absolutely loved this book too. Such a good, interesting premise, such a good story. It is kind of like a sci-fi thriller. There's a really great TV adaptation too that I'm actually like pretty impressed by. Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. Definitely in my top. The third book that's my favorite right now, and I think will be for a long time, is The Wedding People by Alison Espach or Espach. U is for Unapologetic Fangirl, book that I'm an unapologetic fangirl for. And for that one, Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister. I don't know why people aren't as obsessed with this time loop type of thriller as I am, but this book, the twist in this book had me absolutely jaw drop. So I love this book. I don't see a lot of people fangirling about it, but I love it. V is for Very Exciting Release, and after all of the stuff that I just spoke about with Taylor Jenkins Reid, I have to say Atmosphere. It comes out June 2nd, and I cannot freaking wait. W is Worst Book Habit. I think that my worst book habit is not always checking Kindle Unlimited before I purchase a book. There are times that I will get a book and I'll realize that I forgot to look and it's on Kindle Unlimited, which can be very annoying. So that's my worst book habit. X marks the spot. Count to the 24th book and show the 24th book on your bookshelf. The 24th book on my bookshelf was Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. Y is for your most recent book purchase. I got an add-on from Book of the Month for Deep Cuts by Holly Brickley. Takes place in the 90s, music, almost Daisy Jones and the Six, but like 90s alt, kind of grungy. Very intrigued. Love the cover too. Ooh, I realized I forgot O. O is for one book you've read multiple times. So for that one, I just brought out my whole box set of the Hunger Games books because definitely the answer. And Z is for ZZZ, books that kept you up at night. So book that kept me up all night reading it, Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I read this in one sitting and I stayed up all night to finish it. Love this book. That is my A to Z book tag. I hope that you enjoy my answers to these questions. I would love to see your answers. If you would like to either put them in the comments or make a video yourself, that would be amazing. Thank you to Hannah's Reading Realm for giving me this idea. And like I said, I hope you all enjoyed. Subscribe if you like book videos, and I'll see you in my next one.